This episode of BFC TV is brought to you by Polaroid. On this week's episode of BFC TV, we're diving into the distinction between 35mm film and medium format. These are the most common forms of celluloid, and each come with distinct advantages, disadvantages, and compatible cameras to shoot with. All that and much, much more on BFC TV. Welcome to BFC TV, my name is Ben, and today we're talking film formats. If you're looking to jump from 35 to 120, aka medium format, this video should really help you understand the fundamental differences brought about by larger negatives and positives. The precious film we run through our cameras begins its life as a humble master roll. Think of master rolls like the tree from which the other formats branch. The master rolls are gigantic spools of film that are then cut down into a variety of formats, most commonly 35mm, which is spooled into canisters, 120, which is spooled into spools, and large format sheets of 4x5, 8x10, or rare special sizes that come about but a few times a year. The ensuing difference in scale between something like medium format and 35 dictates a tremendous amount when it comes to things like resolution, field of view, sharpness, tonality, and grain. Almost ran out of fingers. A 35mm image packs a whole lot of punch on just this tiny little object. Though small in physical stature, labs and home scanners can magnify the details on the film to incredible sizes. Some films have more resolving power than others, allowing you to enlarge the image substantially and bring out fine details. 120 film essentially takes this information available and more than doubles it, increasing resolution, decreasing grain, and providing negatives or positives with greater tonal range. But this distinction comes down to a lot more than just resolution. Take, for example, an 85mm lens. On a 35mm camera, the field of view present will be somewhat narrow, great for a longer lens look at a subject. But on medium format, that same 85mm lens is intaking light at a greater field of view, so you can capture more information in the surrounding composition, or alternatively get much closer and capture finer details. An 85mm lens on a 120 camera is closer to the equivalent of a 50mm lens on 35, so you're gaining compression and rendering of longer lenses, but with the added bonus of capturing a wider frame. The other aspect of medium format that sometimes introduces confusion is that 120 does not have the more standard aspect ratio of the 35mm rectangle. Depending on the camera, medium format film can produce 6x4.5 pictures, 6.6, 6.7, 6.8, or wider in panoramic backs. This is also true of 35mm cameras that capture panoramic aspect ratios or half frames, but it's far less common than on medium format, where your camera or camera back is a critical component of how much image information is captured per frame. Despite these obvious advantages of medium format, the pros and cons of 35 versus 120 are hotly debated. Hotly. Take, for example, the Pentax K1000, in my opinion, the quintessential 35mm SLR camera. This small object is capable of taking stunning pictures, can be easily slung around the shoulder on adventures, and is ready when you are to capture a moment. 120 cameras, in contrast, are far heavier, often cost quite a bit more, take fewer frames per roll, and a majority don't have an internal meter, meaning you have to take a light reading with a meter or an app to achieve a precise exposure. On the Pentax, you just gotta look to the viewfinder and line up an arrow. 35mm film also typically captures 36 frames per roll, where on medium format, depending on the camera, that can take as few as 8 exposures or 16-ish on the 6.45 size. So, 35mm has size and price on its side. It also has volume of camera options, as it has been the most common format for almost 100 years. The cameras available are seemingly infinite, from tiny point-and-shoots with built-in flash, to traditional SLRs, to sleek rangefinders, to weird swing-lensed cameras. Any flavor that suits your palate is on the table for the nomming. Medium format cameras, while often more expensive, offer completely different shooting experiences. There are rangefinders and giant SLRs for sure, but let's bring back the Yashica 124G. This is a classic medium format twin-lensed reflex camera. It has two lenses, one that is the viewing lens and one that is the taking lens. The viewing lens relays an image through the waist-level finder, projecting reality onto a ground glass before your eyes. It is absolutely one of the most remarkable ways to take a picture, or even just see, and for many it is a significantly more immersive photographic experience. Single lens reflexes like the RB67 and Hasselblad 500cm allow you to compose similarly but directly through its only lens. These cameras no doubt slow you down a little bit, but that could certainly be looked at as a positive. Carefully composing an image on a ground glass, taking manual meter readings, and intricately crafting each image can make 12 exposures on a roll seem like 36. And as you spend more time with each shot, you may find the resulting images are more befitting of your photographic style. That being said, the real truth of the matter is any result comes down to the photographer themselves. The eye, the craft, the person are what bring out the finest details of all. You can make a beautiful picture with a pinhole cut out of an apple. The advantages and disadvantages of each format are simply points of preference. As you find your apple, take a bite. I hope there's no worms in there. And now it's time for your film format bonus round. As we are Polaroid experts here at BFC, let's take a look at how every format stacks up to what we've already discussed. After all, instant film is just a self-developing film positive, so size still matters here. Instax Mini and the Polaroid Go could be classified as medium format. Held up to a medium format negative, they fit the bill. Amazingly, in such a compact camera like the SX70, standard Polaroid film is quite a bit larger than medium format. Sort of an in-between when compared to the 4x5 large format. So I guess you could call it super medium format, or moderate to severe format. Instax Wide has about the same image area, and Instax Square is in no man's land, absolutely lost in the sauce. And that ends this week's film format bonus round. Thanks for playing. There are no prizes. Prize budget just wasn't there. And thank you for watching BFC TV. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and check out brooklynfilmcamera.com for a myriad of 35mm and medium format options. And see you next time. Bye.